Hello everyone and welcome back to Conversations with Dental Friends, the go-to podcast for dental professionals who are ready to level up, redefine their careers and actually enjoy the process along the way. Today's episode is one I wish I had when I was starting out. I'm joined by Rosie, who is a senior dental nurse at Gransha Dental Practice in Belfast, who takes us through her journey into dental nursing and what it really looks like if you're thinking about taking that next step and applying to be a dental hygienist or dental therapist. She gives such great insights into the process, the challenges, and what she's learned along the way. We also get into a super important conversation about dyslexia and autism and how they impact daily life, and specifically what this could mean in a clinical setting. Whether you're navigating this yourself or want to better support a friend or a colleague, this chat is full of insights and takeaways. And honestly, Rosie is just one of those people. I mean, as soon as you meet her or you hear her, you'll want to hear more. She brings so much warmth, knowledge and honesty to this episode, and I know you're going to love it. So let's get into it. Rosie, welcome to Conversations with Dental Friends. Thank you so much for being part of my podcast project. Rosie and I have known each other, it feels like a really long time, but we've really only known each other from like 2022 and we worked with each other for about a year. Rosie, let's start with your journey into dentistry. How did you first get into the industry and what does your current role look like now?
Well, my story starts off as a wee in like I was diagnosed with dyslexia at 7 years old, which is early, but I was dyslexic, very dyslexic, and I was in a mainstream primary school and struggled so much. I can even remember like how difficult I found it.
Traumatic?
It was traumatic. Remember one of my, not my fondest memory, but one of my memories in the school was everyone learning and I was given a book or something to colour in. I felt like I was very neglected as a child within school. And then I got extra help on the side eventually and I think I was 7 and I was diagnosed with dyslexia. I remember my mum, when we were talking about obviously recently just about where I am now from the get-go. And she said a teacher once said to her, and I was probably running around when the teacher said this, she said to my mum, I don't know how you teach a child like that.
It's shocking.
Oh, it's wild. Like, you couldn't get away with it now.
Yeah.
But from the get-go, I felt like I was set up to fail. So I went to a special needs school. It was Beachlawn in Hillsborough. And I was in the dyslexia unit, and it was the school only started from P6 to P7.
Okay.
And then it went on then to 1st to 5th year. And 1st to 5th year were people with more dramatic learning difficulties. So I went there, and actually I did like it. And I learnt a lot. I actually learnt reading and writing. Like, I don't think I could have read if I didn't go there. I wouldn't know where I'd be if I didn't go there. So it was good, but I remember it came, and I remember begging my mum to not put me in that high school. I was like, please don't do it. Like,
it's like safety in what you know, I suppose.
Yeah, and I was like, I just want to be normal. I remember telling her that. So then she sent me to high school, just a mainstream high school. Struggled so much.
From first year?
From first year, struggled so much. And I was failing everything. I was never good grades. And it came to my GCSEs, and I was put into the special unit. And I think that's where then I took a dip of my confidence and took a dip of not feeling smart. So in GCSEs, they struggled and they chose my GCSEs. I had no say in it, which was so frustrating. But everyone else had to choose. Yeah. And they were putting me in the essential skills, that was always like less than what I felt like I could do. And then I had to beg to let me do art and science.
Yeah. And are you quite artistic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they let me do science, GCSE, got a C in that, and they were going to put me into the essential skills or something for that. And then with my art, I got an A star, and I had to do that outside of school times. I had no classes for it, just had to do it kind of on my own.
Wow.
And then again, it comes to going day levels and all. Teachers telling me you should go to tech and do catering, and I was like, "And what have I ever done catering?"
Yes. Are you picking catering? Right?
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to do that. I think it was going through school of being told what to do. I kind of rebelled against that, and I was like, no, I'm going to do this. So I did A levels, and I struggled in A levels. I had a rough time between.
And what were your A levels then?
So moving image and art,
Mm-hmm.
but again, I put no effort in. I was struggling personally, other aspects of life, and I got a C and a D. And then came out of that, and I goes, right, I'm gonna take a gap year and go travel and all this. So I had all these dreams, and I ended up 6 months on the dole, wasting away, just being a slacker. It was like, I'm greater than this. I've got so much potential,
so much to go.
That's when I was brought to Belfast Met to pick a subject. I was gripped by the ear and brought down by my mum, forced into it by my
under duress.
Yeah, and just agreed to do it so you get out of there quickly. But it was in 2019.
2009.
So what was that? 5 years ago? 6 years ago?
5 years ago.
Jeez,
I know.
So a long time ago, and yep. So I started the course, and I can safely say I hated it. I really did. I think because at that time in my life, I struggled with studying. I never knew how to study. I never really got good results. So it was no different. So I struggled for it, and I didn't like it. And I think within the surgery, it's harder than people think. Patients probably think that all you do is suction.
Yeah.
And I wished that was all I did.
What an easy life.
It wasn't an easy life. So I was doing it full time. So I was in practice 2 days a week, not getting paid.
Yeah.
And the other 3 days was
in tech.
And I was already working as a part-time pizza chef.
Hey,
hello, I know. One of many talents.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I did it for 5 years.
Wow.
So if all fails, going back to my roots.
Yes, absolutely.
It wasn't an easy life, but I think not knowing what to do was just a bit of a damaged my ego a bit.
Yeah.
You know, from being an amazing pizza chef, you know. So yeah, I did struggle, and I think that's where I disliked it, but I didn't dislike it for long once I started to pick up and finally understand.
I think it's quite a good course because you understand so much of why you're doing it, as opposed to doing A levels or any further study at uni, because you're seeing the practical applications day in, day out of why you need to know about cross-infection, why you need to know about medical emergencies, why you need to know about instruments. And I think it is quite a good balance if maybe the traditional academic route isn't your favourite.
Oh yeah, 100%. I feel like it's good to have a balance between theory and practical, because I learn better with practical.
So you mentioned there that you were in surgery 3 days, or you were in surgery 2 days, and then you were doing your course for 3 of those days were theory-based modules. What is the theory side of dental nursing like?
The theory side is a good question because it was so long ago.
Yeah.
But you learn everything you need to know. You learn the background to it.
And it's an extensive course, isn't it? There's big syllabus there.
And I don't think people realise how much work goes behind it. You do coursework too.
Yes.
And there's a girl that just finished it in my practice, Joey, and she was doing for ages. Like, it was just felt like one after each other, and I don't think I realised. When you're in it, you kind of don't realise how much it is, but when you see someone else do it, you go, oh, that's so much for it. Yeah. On top of that, studying for an exam.
And is it just one exam?
No, so you have 2 exams. The first exam is a written one. It's multiple choice. Not that makes it any easier, you know. Not
actually more confusing.
Yeah. And then the other one is an OSCE. Okay. I did mine back. It was during COVID. So mine was a Zoom call. Okay. I don't know if there's still Zoom calls or you're in person now, but you were asked, like, how to set, what do you need for a root canal or something? And you talk through. And when I think about it now, I'd be like, walk in a park, I could do it, you know?
Yeah.
But see then, like, hadn't a clue, you know.
It's overwhelming. It's nearly you're trying to remember so much information at the time because you just don't know what you're going to be asked.
And I failed. No, I passed my written one first time.
Mm-hmm.
And I failed my OSCEs once, passed the second time.
And did you have to wait another year to repeat that, or can you do it right away?
I think it was maybe like 6 months then.
Okay, so it's not so bad.
No, it's not so bad.
That you need to.
Yeah.
What does your current role look like now?
My current role looks like that's. Oh, this is a hard question. I was like, I'm making jokes with someone with this. I was like, I don't do anything. No, my current role. So, I'm a senior dental nurse,
and you love it.
Yeah, I do. I do love it. I'm just there to make Maeve's life easier.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yes.
I'm Maeve's personal assistant.
And I'm sure Maeve is very, very grateful to have you. Maeve works at Gransha Dental Practice with Rosie, and Maeve is an incredibly gifted dentist.
Very, very gifted.
Very, very gifted. What kind of person maybe do you think makes a good dental nurse?
I think you have to want to be there.
Yes.
And I think looking back now, the moment I went from not bothered to wanting to be there, I completely changed.
Yes.
As a nurse, and obviously, well, for me, wanting to do dental therapy, that just, what I can remember is the first day I stepped in surgery and I worked with a hygienist, and it was just like, that I want to do this. You know?
You've worked in both NHS and private practice. How do you find the differences between the two? Do you have a preference, or do you think each has their pros and cons?
Well, I feel like NHS right now is obviously took a massive dip.
Yes.
And I think it's sad to see, because the prices of private are extortionate.
Mm-hmm.
I would be considered as an NHS patient because I couldn't do it, with the wages I'm on.
Mm-hmm.
Before I should have said that. But I probably couldn't afford it. So I think knowing many people in my life that I also know couldn't afford it, yet they deserve the same treatment as what private patients.
Very much so.
So I feel like when it comes to NHS, like, I want to be part of that and to make it a bit of a comeback.
Yeah.
I feel like it shouldn't end up dead, basically.
And dental care is healthcare.
Yeah.
Everybody does deserve the right to healthcare. That does include dental care, for sure.
100%. Private, I feel like because in my practice there's like a mixture.
Yes.
It's obviously mainly private, but there's some NHS there. And for me, and obviously working with me, I don't see any difference. Patients are treated the same. They're the same procedures. But I know that's not always the case.
Yeah.
There just can be a huge difference between some dentists treating NHS and some dentists treating private, which personally
is a bit of a
a
struggle.
It is a grey area, but.
And would you say then that there are parts of each that you enjoy, really? Yeah,
well, I feel like with private, I think it's the appointment. Some are like, you wouldn't do composite bonding on NHS, and I like that. I do like it. I think seeing the patient from the moment they come into surgery to like 4 hours, it's a completely different person.
A big wow.
Yeah, and their confidence go up. So that's with private. That's what I like. And with NHS, helping people who can't afford it, and to be able to.
Such a gift to a person. So Rosie, you're taking your dental nursing career step further then by studying oral health education. What made you want to specialise in that area, and what does that course involve?
So I chose oral health because I know that university like it.
Yes.
And I knew I wanted to do an extra course, but I didn't really know which one to do. And I think because it's probably the most hand in hand with dental hygiene and dental therapy.
Yes.
And I actually did really enjoy it. I did my exam like 2 weeks ago, and there was a lot on like tooth surface, there's actually a lot of questions on dentures.
Wow.
So a lot of the learning and like your eruption, teeth eruption, kind of like a wee taster of what you would be learning, you know, when you go further. And I really enjoyed it, and I didn't really find it was like studying because it was interesting to me.
Yes.
When I want to learn
That's the key, isn't it? You've got to find that thing that's your little passion.
100%. And then if I ever went through life enjoying what I was studying to that extent, you know what I mean?
So this has been your favourite moment of education ever, would you say?
Yeah, I would say more, because it was a taster of what I know I'm going to be doing.
Yes.
So I think it was kind of like
give you a bit of fire under you.
100%. And I did really enjoy it. And you can take that into the surgery by giving patients advice, their oral health.
Brilliant. So Rosie, you mentioned that you have had some struggles with the mainstream education system, and you were diagnosed as dyslexic at 7, and have been through school in different kind of capacities, and you were officially diagnosed as autistic whenever you were 21, which is quite a late diagnosis. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
I was diagnosed at 21. I went through mainstream, and that would have been my 4th time. Well, that was obviously a proper diagnosis, right? But before that, I had 3 times where I was knocked back, basically being like, no, you're not. I think one of them when I was much younger, and they were like, no, I don't think it's how does dyslexia. Then I was 16. Was I 6? I think 16. I was on the waiting list and wasn't seen. And then at 19, when I was like really struggling, just like mentally, I went to see someone with my mum, went privately, and I was a strawberry teenager, so didn't want to be there. But like I wanted to be there because I remember being like to Mum, I know there's something
I need
missing,
to know.
and stopping me from like developing properly, like personally developing. And they basically said, oh, well, your brother's autistic, so you're probably just picking up traits. And I remembered even that day, and them trying to book in another appointment, and I goes, no, not happening. See you.
This is not it.
The money, it was a joke. Like, it just felt like they were just looking money for telling me they can't really tell me, you know. And then when I was 21, I just was like, oh, Mum, like I need to do this. And she didn't hesitate to help me. And I went to what do you call, not a therapist,
like a psychologist.
Psychologist. I went to a psychologist, and it was intense. Like it was hard. I remember, I think it was 5 to 6 to 7 sessions, and they'd be like 2 hours long each. Talking about my childhood, talking about my family. My mum would be in some of the sessions, and reading everything I did, every body movement. I felt really there was like,
you were on show.
There was just so much to it. And at the end, I remember he took me and he was like, you're autistic. And I go, sorry. And
thank you. Forgive me what I
told you.
Which is sir.
I was like, did I not get a certificate? So the year after, I completely suppressed it. And didn't really think much into it.
And how does your diagnosis relate then to your dental nursing journey? Were you a qualified dental nurse whenever you were diagnosed?
Yes. So I've been qualified.
And do you think that has helped you within your role to have that diagnosis?
100%. I think more for personal reasons, because I am now like my true self.
You're happier.
Yeah. Within myself, you know, I just am myself. And I don't really care what people think. If I'm overstimulated, which happens quite often, especially in surgery, I would say to me, if I just need to take 5 minutes and no issues there, you know. And
I need the space.
And just breathe, put a helmet on and shake. Just doing like, and so I think for me, it's more about myself, to learn to understand about myself, to be able to tell people what my needs are and what I need. Never like what other people think I need, because autism in girls is so different than in
very much
in males. It's so different, and all the tests were done in males, and that's why a lot of females are late.
Yeah, because that's the blueprint.
Yeah.
It's like all women's health, isn't it?
Yeah. And I probably tell at least one person a week that they're autistic. So I told someone in work yesterday, they're autistic.
You're autistic.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting because I would say that dentistry is an extremely stimulating environment in terms of noise and chaos, and you're always beaten to somebody else's drum. Do you have coping mechanisms in place then that help you get through your day-to-day in surgery?
I think weirdly with noise,
It's not so bad.
it's not so bad. I think because I grew up in a large family
Yeah.
with 5 siblings and 3 brothers who were constantly making noise, that I had no chance to adapt to sound.
Yeah.
So actually sound doesn't bother me as much. The heat can do it, temperature. Sometimes me have surgery, it's so warm or so cold, and that, that can overstimulate me. Or even having patients who have different needs.
Yes.
I find that I've adapted well. I've learned to adapt well with people and be able to suit myself or suit them.
And do you feel supported within dentistry as an autistic person? Do you think people in dentistry are getting better? Probably a lot of more people in dentistry, as you touched on, they're autistic.
Yeah,
they don't realise.
100%. I think it's not necessarily dentistry as a whole. I think it's more individual people. There's a stigma around autism. Do you know what I mean? There's a massive stigma. When I tell someone for the first time, I still be a bit embarrassed. I'm like, oh jeez. I think because I'm so verbal about it.
Yeah. You're already open about it.
Yeah, if I'm saying I'm in with someone, a new dentist, I'll tell them Maeve is perfect to work with because she just lets me be my fullest self. She understands, yeah.
I love that. I think a supportive environment is so, so important. So Rosie, you've always had a passion for dental hygiene and dental therapy as long as I've known you, and now you've officially accepted an offer to study oral health sciences at Glasgow University.
I know.
Huge congratulations.
Thanks so much.
Absolutely amazing. I'm so proud of you, Rosie. How does that feel?
Good question.
Yeah.
I'm still in shock. I feel like
fairly fresh, isn't it?
Yeah, I was being like
last week,
who knows? But I think working towards this for the guts of 6 years,
big goal,
and majority of that time, I think it was so out of reach.
Yeah.
To finally get there, it's people. You think you'd expect me to be completely like over the moon, which I am. But I'm processing it,
It's a mix of emotions too, because obviously there's change involved.
Yeah.
Now.
Holistic change.
But it's adapting to that this new chapter for you.
Yeah.
But it's very, very exciting.
So exciting.
Very exciting.
I'm buzzing. I think it's going to be hard leaving my family.
For sure.
Not all of them, but it's going to be hard, I think, and it's going to be hard for them too.
Yeah.
My parents are obsessed with me, as they should be. So I think me moving across is going to be a big change for everyone. I personally can't wait. I can't wait to be in my own space.
Yeah.
And not hear anyone playing music in my house.
Yeah.
My sister.
Yeah.
And just relax. Well, I won't be relaxing because we'll be studying, but I have this perfect idea of what my life is going to be like.
Yeah. Your vision board?
A vision board, yeah. Just be studying, boxing.
Yeah.
Just enjoying. And my brother lives over in Glasgow, so I'll have...
So you have that kind of...
I have, and I have friends over there too, so I'm not worried at all about the moving part or the new environment, because I think Glasgow is very similar to Belfast.
Very similar. And I think it's been great for you because you have had such an insight. We've worked together. You've worked with other dental hygienists, dental therapists. You've worked with cosmetic dentists that are doing really nice restorative work. You already have such a good idea of what the role is going to entail.
Yeah.
That's been the best preparation you probably could have got.
100%. I feel like I'm so prepared.
Yeah.
More so than someone coming out of A levels.
Yeah.
And I don't know how someone could cope or manage going in dental therapy doing A levels, but they do it. I always sit there in surgery and be like, just maybe go for a cup of tea. I'll finish off this.
Yes.
I'm so confident. Realistically, they'll put it in my hand and it'll feel so foreign. I'll be like, what am I doing?
Yes.
And
the reflective nature and everything, there are those little things about it that take a bit of time, but then after a certain amount of time, you don't even think about that.
Yeah.
You know, and you're artistic as well, as you mentioned, so that stands you in really good stead, because I know dental therapy, in particular, restorations is something that you're most interested in.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's why I don't want to just do I didn't want to really just do hygiene. I applied for hygiene courses and actually got rejected them.
And you can, if you are doing dental hygiene, you can of course top up. But I know University of Essex offers that. But to do something that you have that passionate about from the outset, and I know Glasgow was so much to you.
It was just the perfect outcome, and then it ended up being that. But yeah, restorative. I think anytime I'm doing fill-ins with a dentist, I'm near enough in the patient's mouth, seeing how they mold it. And I think that's what because I'm artistic, I'll enjoy it, you know.
And you love it, and you never get too old when you love it.
Yeah.
And you've done some jewellery making as well.
Yes.
So you've tried your hand at a lot of different things. There will be transferable skills.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm sure for you, Rosie. For anyone thinking about following the same path, what does the application process look like as someone who's just been through it? And what advice would you give to others looking to train as a dental hygienist or dental therapist?
The application process, first of all, you have to do your personal statement, which obviously is my weak point because I can't.
You did a very good personal statement, Rosie. I looked through Rosie's personal statement sitting in an airport in Greece, and well, it's lovely.
That personal statement had been seen by many of eyes, so I could get it perfect, you know, and. So I was actually really happy with that, you know. I feel like good job. I couldn't have done it better, or we all.
It was quite collaborative.
So I was happy with that. And then you go on to the next stage, which is waiting to hear back for interviews. And that takes months. You're sitting around.
And they come in dribs and drabs.
Yeah, like, you know, I had an interview before Christmas. And then I had my other interview, it's been a couple of weeks ago, basically. You do lose I felt like I lost the motivation. I remember I actually got rejected to Teesside the day I got an interview from, or I was given an interview invitation from Glasgow, and I remember that day
a roller coaster.
Do you know what? I didn't even think about the interview request. I was just so caught up on failure. So I just let myself feel it that day and feel like a loser, and just being like, right, I'm going to pick myself up tomorrow because I'm not letting this affect my next interview.
Yeah.
Which I didn't, clearly, but I did the next interview in person. And I would recommend to anyone, if you're doing it, just go in person.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're planning for 5 unis, you're not going to want to go
hard because financially as well, you know, I remember whenever I was doing my interviews, they were all in person, and I was thinking Zoom was a thing, whatever, although it probably was, probably like Skype or something. I think that there are people that come across very well on Zoom, of course, but an in-person interview, you're reading so much about the person in that situation. That's not just a dialogue. So I would agree with you. If you can do an interview in person, go for it.
Because I remember going to it and I just felt way more confident. I ended up turning up an hour early and someone didn't show up, which I thought was mad. I couldn't wrap my head around how someone wouldn't show up.
I know. Because it's your dream, and you say, why would somebody just spread all this?
Exactly. I was like, this is an honour to be here. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then I was brought in, and I think the two ladies that interviewed me, I got along with before the interview even started.
Yes.
And I also had it in my head.
They would have liked that you were early.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. I liked you, of course.
I had it in my head that there was going to be 6 people in a straight line in front of me just to scare myself. And in the moment I went in, I was like, right, it's not 6 people, it's 2 people, and we're sitting at a table together.
So already it was slightly more informal.
Yeah, so I kind of like bigged it up to know that it would ultimately be so much easier than what I think. And I had a laugh with them. I was fully myself.
You said to me you were a professional yapper whenever you get into it.
Yes, so I honestly wouldn't shut up, and I feel like sometimes you can speak too much. So when I was practicing that whole weekend. I remember people I was practicing with is like, you can stop there. You don't need to keep going. And you just, it can be short and sweet. It doesn't have to be like blabbering on, which I did find myself doing, but it got me where I needed to get. So
it did.
There you go.
It did. And so you do your, so you go through your application with Was that through UCAS, or do you apply independently?
You have to do it for UCAS, and you have to fill out all this stuff. You put your results in, and it's just annoying. Yeah, so many people don't do it because there's just so much effort.
Yeah.
And you have to pay a fee of like £25. So it's
Okay.
like that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's just annoying things. Get your references. You're my reference. Yes. Shout out Rachel.
For sure.
You do your interview, and they said in the interview you'll hear back at the end of the month. So probably around now time. And I heard 2 weeks after, a week after, and
because they loved you. Yeah, of course they did.
So yeah, that was yeah. I just love to know why they chose me. You know, just in moments like, what was it the thing? And I remember sitting for the interview, and right in the middle of the interview, I said to myself, in my head, I was like, I got this. I've already got this. And
you need to have that self-belief when you go into it.
And I feel like mine fluctuates, but in that moment, in that room, at that time, I was like, I think they asked, why you? And I was like, oh, good question.
Yeah.
And I goes, I don't think I'm better than anyone else. I don't think I deserve it more than people out there, but I know for a fact I want this more than them.
Yes.
And it was a simple answer like that.
I think I felt like that whenever I went to do my interview for where I eventually went to university at Newcastle Dental Hospital. I think I felt exactly the same, and I actually got waitlisted, but whenever I was just about to go into the interview, I still remember being in the bathroom, what I was wearing, and I just had a moment of being like, you've got this is where you're going to go. And it's nearly that little extension of that into the universe.
Yeah, because manifesting, manifesting is like, it is a real thing. You know, I did a vision board there at Christmas, and I wrote on it, like, it's everything on it. It's halfway through the year and I've got it all.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I'm such a strong believer in it. If you like put it out there, and when I rang my mum and told her I got in, she goes, everyone wanted this for you. And it was so many, like,
it was
so
like
many people.
Collective congregation. We all really, like a cult really of people, we all really manifesting for me. So we'll all be making our vision boards tonight.
Yeah, definitely.
So what advice would you give, apart from a vision board, for somebody who wants to be a dental hygienist or dental therapist?
I think dig deep. Are you doing it for the wrong reasons?
Yeah.
Are you doing it for financial gain? Are you doing it for like a status?
Yeah.
Or are you doing it because there's a passion there? And
you want to help people.
I think I am where I am right now, regardless of my setbacks, is because there's a passion there. It has to be. So I think passion above everything. And I think that's what they seen in that interview that day, is I had passion.
Yeah.
I wasn't just another person, just decided within the year that I want to do this. Like, this is a long time coming. And also within your interview, just be yourself. And like, you hear that all the time, but just be yourself. And what the advice you give me, and many people have given me, is don't give up.
Yeah.
Just keep persistence. And that's the word you said. Persistence is key.
It will be one of the times, it will be your time.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it has to be.
You just have to keep getting up like a boxer, like you are.
Yes.
You just have to keep getting up and going for it again.
100%.
Absolutely. So you're moving on to this exciting new chapter, Rosie, and you're making waves. But looking back, what's been your favourite part for someone considering a career in dental nursing?
That's a good question. I think, well, mine as a personal reason, mine has been the people I've met.
Yeah.
You know, I've worked with amazing dentists, and I've had great relationships with so many. And you're in that surgery 8-9 hours a day, stuck with a dentist.
You've got to make the best.
You got to make the best of it. And I've been working with Maeve for 2 years, and we've built, like...
Is Maeve your favourite?
Yeah. I hope no one else hears this. We've worked with each other in about 2 years now. And she's like a work mum.
Yeah.
So
she's so great. She and I have worked together. We've crossed paths a couple of times, and she's such a joy.
It makes a real difference. Someone you can yap away at, someone you can sit there in silence with.
Exactly. And it's just as important.
100%. Someone who knows how you're feeling without asking. Someone knows when you're off. I think it's going to be hard my last day. It's the end of an era. But for me personally, it has been having that relationship with dentists. And being able, like, I know what Maeve needs before she knows.
Yes.
You know, it's quite psychotic, really.
And that's a relationship that you'll cultivate, and it'll be good for years and years and years to come.
100%.
Whenever we were saying our goodbyes,
Yeah.
I said to you, it's not really goodbye because we'll see each other. That was just like a given to me. You're in this field now, going to be training in dental therapy.
I'll be working in the same place.
You're going to be a dental therapist. We could have our own practice, Rosie.
Oh,
Never know.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So I'd usually say what's next for you, but we already know that Glasgow is calling your name.
Yeah.
What are you most looking forward to in this new experience, either educationally or generally?
Well, there's a lot of fear, first of all,
Yeah.
which I'm not afraid to admit. I think there's a lot of fear because of the roots of always doubting myself.
Yeah.
So it's trying to like come above that fear and think, well, I've earned my space for a reason.
You have.
Because I am so able for it. I just want to get started. I'm scared. There's so much to learn, but I'm excited, you know, and I just hands on, you know. I think that's what I'm gonna thrive at, and I've gaslit myself to
just
say,
getting into that phantom headroom.
Oh, 100%. I've gaslit myself to say that everyone's not gonna have a clue, and I'm gonna be sitting drawing with eyes closed. Like, but realistically, that's not the case. But I think it's definitely gonna be that. And but I'm excited to learn the theory, and I will put a lot of work in, and I know the work that you have to do, and it's scary, but
manageable chunks, Rosie. Break everything into little bits.
100%.
You know, really, whenever it comes down to it all, if you believe in yourself,
100%,
work hard and never give up, you'll always get where you want to go.
Oh, 100%. And I've done that, and I'm doing that.
You're the poster girl.
Exactly.
You're the poster girl.
Exactly.
Well, Rosie, I cannot wait to hear about your wonderful journey into dental therapy in Glasgow, and I know you'll stay in touch with me, of course.
Of course.
And thank you so much for being on this podcast today.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
A pleasure.
You're welcome.
A pleasure.
Wow. I feel like I'm going to say this about every episode, but honestly, parts of this really got me. I'm just so proud of Rosie. I know she's going to go on to achieve everything that she sets her mind to, and I can't wait to see what's on her vision board in 10 years' time. If today's conversation resonated with you, or if you want to learn more about supporting yourself or a colleague with dyslexia or autism, I've linked some helpful resources down below. This is such an important conversation to have, and the more we talk about it,